Alright everyone, Beto finally gets his 15 minutes of real fame for the first time since his little get-together down in southern Texas to try and fail to stop Trump's wall. I'm going to read out this tweet that he made, and at first when I saw this, I saw it posted yesterday on 4chan about this. I assumed it was a joke, like a Beto is cringe sort of meme thing, because if you just, make up some shit about something he supposedly said and you're good at it, you can make it believable. But it's actually real, and I don't know whether to laugh or be concerned at the fact that this is technically a viable candidate within the Democratic Party. And he's only running at like 3 or 4%, but that's better than a lot of the candidates are at, so think about it that way. I'm just going to read this verbatim, because there's no way to make it any funnier than than it already is. And the worst part is that there's a kernel of truth to the actual tweet. In detention centers and in prisons, in big cities and small towns, women across America don't have access to the period products they need. On National Period Day, hashtag of course, men need to join women in demanding real change, which is why I'm supporting the Menstrual Equity Act. That's an actual name of an act that he wants to pass through. You can't make many jokes about it because they won't be as funny as the topic itself. Here's the thing. There is a chronic shortage in prisons across the U.S. of sanitary products. But beyond that, like toilet paper and stuff like that, too. Our prison system needs desperate reform, but the idea of passing specifically an act regarding tampons in prisons to the exclusion of other prison reform, number one, is, hilarious pandering. Number two, the way it's phrased. And then number three, the fact that his name is Beto, like close to beta anyway, makes it sound like he's just doing this for votes. But I'm trying to think of what voting bloc he's pandering to. What voting bloc, at this point, if you're a female Democratic voter, you've probably already congealed behind someone. It's probably not BetoORourke. I can't imagine that him championing this on Twitter to a few thousand people is going to change the metrics of the race to any significant degree. I guess he disagrees, though. I think that he thinks genuinely that this is a good campaign pitch. Really, though, if you look through the comments here, and it's almost been ratioed, if you look through the comments, most people are like, basically, stop tweeting, go to sleep, you're drunk. I said, stop tweeting when you're high on ketamine, because I have a feeling that when he gets up on stage and he can't stop spazzing out, there's a reason for that, I have to say. Maybe that magic dirt that he ate was special dirt. It was dirt that too many cannabis plants were grown on recently, and it's got psychoactive properties. I feel a little bit sorry for Beto, though. He keeps getting upstaged all the time. Like, I pointed out when I was talking to V the other day. When he talks, in a debate, Julian Castro devolves into Spanish and speaks it, perfectly. And then Beto, who I guess is a little bit less fluent, he always looks over at Julian Castro. He gives him the stink eye, basically. And then he starts rambling off in Spanish, too, and it's really funny to see him get upstage, because you can tell that it hurts his testicles a little bit. It makes him feel less manly, because somebody else on stage objectively is better than him at something, and you can actually visibly see it. I feel sorry for the dude, because every time he tries to be relevant, it just comes off as cringy. That's really what it's about. If you're going to be running, especially in the Democratic Party, you need to have some decent youth appeal. Beto is that dude. He's that middle-class, middle-aged suburban dad who's going through his midlife crisis, basically. And he's trying to be cool again. And so he puts on, the do-rag and skateboards through the hallways to pick his kids up from school and does, really cringy, stupid shit. And he means well a little bit. And it's like maybe 20 years ago it would have been okay, but him skateboarding or rambling about, playing around with his crapple computer 20 years ago doesn't impress anyone. There are other young people in the field that are less cringy. Tulsi Gabbard comes to mind. Day 2 of her feud with the Hillary Clinton camp, it's not going well for the neolibs. Her support, by the way, will probably rise a couple points because of that. Because she's getting more exposure, believe it or not, when you take somebody who's largely unknown and you expose them to a wider audience, some of those people agree with what they say. The Democrats really it backfired when they tried to take Tulsi Gabbard down by using Hillary Clinton, of all people. I don't think Hillary Clinton has proxies. I think she is a proxy. Poor Beto. The Menstrual Equity Act. Yes, it's a big problem in society. This is probably the best example that we have, actually, from the election of why the Democrats suck. because they refuse to form an actual platform that's meaningful to the average person. I don't know what the tax plan of the Democratic nominee will be. I just know that it means more taxes. I don't know what they plan to do about the border. Some of them want to rip it apart and end the very concept. Others want basically the shitty status quo. None of them want to defend it. That's the only thing I do know. There is no platform there. I realize that part of that is because you've got a crowded field, so you're going to have people with different ideas on different issues. On a lot of it, though, they overlap. They refuse to form a platform. Instead, they talk about two things: Orange Man bad, or something like this, some niche issue that nobody cares about. It's National Period Day. Here's the day that we celebrate ovulation and the expulsion of the ovum. I mean, come on. What are you talking about? And to have a male candidate especially doing this, it just makes it look like, he's being a white knight or something. Yeah, tampons in prison. That's fine. That's probably not an election year issue. That's something that you bring up once, you're elected, but you have to have a platform for that. Beto and many of the other Dems just don't understand this. That's about all. Peace out.